everyone, welcome to the channel French class with Pragya. Pragya, it's me, and this video is going to be very special because we are going to start with a new video series from now, which is the French for Beginners series, and this would consist of all the videos which would cover the basic concepts of the French language for the people who are new to this. We'd be starting with part 0, which would be covering the major grammar topics in French. Then we'd be covering the phrases and words or the vocabulary of French and so on. We'll be covering all the topics. So let's begin. Before moving further, please like the video right now and subscribe to the channel if you are new to it. And watch the video till the end, and if you really find it helpful, please share the video to your friends. And now, this particular segment is the thought segment. So in every video, before we begin with the topic, we'd be first having a look at a beautiful thought, which obviously would be in French. So this is the today's thought of the day. La pensée du jour, this is a term that is used for thought of the day. Literal meaning, la pensée, which means the thought, du means of the, and jour means day. So the thought is, dans une grande âme, tout est grand, which means in a great mind, everything is great. Now, there are a lot of people who say that learning a new language is difficult. But trust me, nothing is difficult. Just that you need to have proper determination and you have to give your 100% and everything is easy. This beautiful thought is given by Blaise Pascal. So now finally, let's begin with our topic of the day. Level 0, which is grammar, as previously also discussed, and this is the lesson 1. In today's video, we'll be discussing about the different French verbs, les verbes français. Now, similar to verbs in English, we have verbs in French as well that describe an action. But in French, we have 3 different categories for verbs. The verbs are categorized into ER category, RE category of verbs, or IR category of verbs. How is this classification there? This classification is based mainly onto the ending of these verbs. For example, in IR verbs category, all the verbs end with the IR. And hence, this is the IR category. Similarly, in RE verbs, all the verbs end in with RE. And this is the RE category. And in ER, also, the verbs end with ER. And this is the ER category. All these 3 categories have their different set of conjugation. Now, there are different rules of conjugations. How? We'll discuss that also in the further lessons. Let's first have a look at the different examples. ER verbs, as we discussed, have an ER ending. Danser, which is a verb that means to dance. Chanter, to sing. Écouter, to listen. Cacher, to hide, and tomber, to fall, and the list goes on. The examples of RE verbs category, prendre, which means to take, mettre, which means to put, attendre, which means to wait, perdre, which means to lose, vendre, which means to sell, and the list goes on. IR verbs category also we'll discuss. Falloir means have to, bâtir means to build, choisir means to choose, accomplir means to accomplish, and avertir means to warn. And there are more such verbs. Now also we have a category of irregular verbs. Les verbes irrégular. Now simply meaning they have their different set of conjugations. They do not go as per the regular verbs, and they do not follow the conjugation of neither RE, neither IR, nor ER. So they have their different conjugations. These are some of the verbs. Aller means to go, être means to be, is MR are included in this. Avoir means to have, faire means to do or to make, dire means to read, voir means to see, venir means to come, and so on. And the list of the irregular verbs is also long. These are not just some that are mentioned on the slide. Let's have a look at how are the verbs in French conjugated. We'd be discussing the radical form and indefinite form in this. Let's take an example of an English verb only, to dance. We know what this means. Now, how do we conjugate this in English? To dance is the verb. We take the dance and we add the ending as per the tense. For example, I want to say that I'm dancing. I would add the ing to the word and then the final sentence would become I am dancing. In French also we have the similar type of conjugation. Now danser is the French verb which means to dance. Now danser is the infinitive form of the verb. What do I mean by infinitive form? That means the raw form of the verb. To dance in English is an infinitive form. Danser in French is an infinitive form. For the conjugation, I take the radical form. How to change the infinitive form to radical form? Now, since danser is an ER verb, we will just have to remove the ER from the end of this verb and we'll be getting the radical form of this verb. In simple words, danser is the infinitive form, we know that. We just remove the ER from the end and we get danse. Danse is the radical form of the verb which is used for conjugation. We cannot take the infinitive form directly. And now once we have this radical form, we'll be adding the particular ER verb conjugation that we'll be learning in the further lessons, and which in this case is a single E. So we added E at the end of danse and the sentence becomes je danse. Je is a pronoun for I in French and danse means I'm dancing. Now at this particular stage, I know this all would seem very complex, but I assure you when you'll study with me, we all cover these topics together. This would become very, very easy for you to understand. So that was it. That was to be covered in this video. The planner for the further videos is as given on your screens. Lesson 2, we'd be covering the être verb, which is an irregular verb. And usually when you learn French language, être is the first verb to be learned because this is the basic verb. Lesson 3, we'll be covering avoir verb, which means to have. In lesson 4, we'll be covering aller verb, which means to go. And in lesson 5, we'll be covering all of the ER verbs. We'll be understanding the basic conjugation and the conjugation remains same for all the verbs. So we'll all be covering this together and I'm sure this would become very easy for you to understand. Although in between these videos, I would also be posting some videos for the vocabulary of the French language. We'd be learning some very easy words like good morning, good evening, good day, or vocabulary like mother, father, brother, sister, some very easy words. Now that's it for this video. We come to the end. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Any doubts that you have or any specific topics you want me to make the videos on, you can share that in the comment section below. I'll be waiting to see your comments. So we'll be meeting in the next video. Till then, au revoir. Now, au revoir is the term which means bye. So, au revoir.